Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany, this is the Brittany React Show, and on this show we talk all things entertainment news, movie news. We've been talking a lot about the strikes lately because there's been a lot of strike news, and boy do we have more strike news today. We have some more potential scabbing with Bill Maher. We're going to talk about that whole situation. We're also going to talk about some really, I think we have a good wide variety of entertainment news today, so there's no shortage on stuff to talk about today, so I'm really happy about that. Hi Black Star, hi Munchie the Gnome, hi Xavier, hi Evil Connor. Got my Brittany 2023 quotes open. Interesting. You're cataloging all my quotes, that's funny. Hi Dubious, Kazu, hi Brianna Does Art, hi Boredom, hi Nate, hi Curious. Hi Jordan, hi Jax, hi the cover girl, hi everyone who's here, hi Stephanie, hi Christy. Alright, so just gonna go straight into the news. So, the first bit of, news to talk about is that we're already getting a season 2 of One Piece. Now, I know a number of you guys have been really liking the show, or at least some of you have watched it. I told you I watched the first episode, and I did give you my review of it a couple of episodes ago, so just check in my past live streams. But I actually like the show. I think it's pretty decent. I haven't seen the original anime that it's based off of or read the manga, but I think the show seems really fun. I get why people are liking it. I'm not surprised it's getting a season 2 because I think the viewership has also been pretty strong. So, anyone excited about this? Anyone gonna watch season 2 of this? Black Chopper says, Black Chopper. Black Star says Chopper is going to be in One Piece season 2. I did see a tweet about that, although I haven't seen this show, so I don't know who Chopper is. I'm sorry. Apparently it's a character that could go really wrong, though, because a lot of you seem very worried. Anise says, yay, One Piece is great. Hope it continues. So some people are excited. Ruru says, I actually liked it. I don't know if I will ever finish the anime. I'm excited. Isn't the anime, well over 1,000 episodes? It's been going on for decades at this point, right? I don't think anyone can watch the entire show of One Piece. I'm sure some people have, but that's a lot. Anyway, what Evil Connor says, here's just a tiny sample. I'm not going to look up anything on Twitter. Lord knows what you'll find. It's true. I mean, y'all know what's on Twitter, or X, I guess. I mean, X is, I guess, more of an appropriate name for it. But anyway, moving on. So we did finally get the full trailer for Aquaman 2. I did show you the trailer for the trailer earlier in the week because for some reason we're doing that now. But this is a much longer trailer. We get a bit more of the story. So I kind of like how the trailer opens. We start off at the lighthouse, Arthur's lighthouse. It's apparently he's unemployed, or it's talking about how he was unemployed. But then he became a father, got a family, now he's taking care of a baby, and then now he's king of Atlantis, so that's his full-time gig now. And you get a lot of really good shots of Atlantis. I actually think the underwater scenes here are pretty good. Again, the CGI and the visual effects actually don't look half bad, so I'm actually kind of impressed with how they made this look. Look at this, that looks kind of cool. Not gonna lie. James Wan might actually do something. So we got Yahya Abdul-Mateen, I think that's who this is. He's playing Black Mantis, or Black Manta. He's one of the villains, I suppose. We'll see. He had a small role in the first one. Anyone excited by this? I actually think the trailer, some of it looks good, and then some of it just looks a little off. Like this image here, I don't know what it is, but it just looks very artificial and strange to me. So some of it looks really good, but some of it I'm just like, I'm very, very nervous. How are you feeling about this movie, though? Brianna Does Art says, wait, who is the baby's mom? The redhead lady I forgot the name of? I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure. Maybe it is. That's who maybe that is her baby. I'm not sure. Angel Barrera says, darn CGI putting real shark actors out of work. Angel, I love your dad jokes. They're great. Jessica Page says the underwater stuff looks better than The Little Mermaid did. That's very true. Very true. The Little Mermaid stuff looked very dark and murky compared to a lot of this stuff. I know it's a lot more stylized compared to, say, what they were going for with The Little Mermaid. They were trying to go for realism. I think they should have gone with this stylized look, because look at how this looks. Imagine if the underwater scenes in the live action Little Mermaid looked like this. I think people would have been a lot, like, I think the visuals would have been better received if they went this route instead of the hyper realistic route. But it seems his house gets burned. He's in the jungle hanging out. I don't know. Some of it, like I said, some of this looks like it could be okay, but some of this looks like, oh no, this could be a huge dumpster fire. I mean, it looks cool though. I have to say, I think it actually looks cool, but story-wise, like, what even is going on here? It seems like a lot going on. Does the trailer look good to anyone else? Yeah, the blue pants, I'm not sure about the look either. Oh, Rhea Roo says you'll watch it on streaming. There you go. Jamie kind of wants to see it, though. Jax will check it out. Do you guys think this movie's going to be dead on arrival, or do you think this movie has a chance at doing well? All the other DC movies have flopped, so this could flop. The Blue Gecko Nerd says they do know how to make lighting way much better than how Disney is making movies nowadays. What's going on with Disney? Because I feel like their live action films all have the same look now, and it's not a good look. I don't know how they're making their films nowadays, what's changed, but they really need to change their production, how they're making those films, because a lot of them end up looking like crap. Not to be too mean, but visually, a lot of their movies look very bad lately. They need to fix that. The Blue Gecko Nerd says Disney makes their movies darker nowadays. That's exactly what I'm saying. I think it's probably to hide the bad CGI. West Coast Avenger says, I can't wait for Deadpool to see a movie with actual real-life sets. The green screen doesn't hold up. Yeah, one thing I am happy to see about Deadpool 3 is that they are apparently emphasizing that they're filming on real sets and real locations. So that does give me some hope for Deadpool 3. If they were just going to be doing everything in front of a green screen or in that stupid void thing, I would have been really even more nervous about that film than I already am, but hearing that they're actually filming Deadpool 3 on real sets does give me a little bit of confidence. Kisaki says the movie will probably flop, especially with the controversial actors. What are the controversial... Oh, Amber Heard. Okay. Is there another one that's controversial? Man, does DC just have a curse, or is there, like, a controversial actor in just about every DC film coming out lately? I feel like, I don't know if it's who they're hiring or what's happened, but there's always something with every movie now. Oh, I'm not hating on Aquaman. You guys can like Aquaman. It's fine. Someone else says Aquaman 1 was incredibly charming. It helped my viewing experience to be with a bitter, recently divorced homie. Commentary made the movie. Well, I'm glad you liked it. Some people really love that movie. It was not for me, but I know a lot of people like it. Alright, so any other comments on Aquaman 2 before we move on to the next thing? Did anyone actually watch the trailer on their own? Is anyone curious enough to even have looked at this trailer before I mentioned it? Or is this the first time we even knew there's going to be a trailer? Also, what is going on here?
Right.
Jumping on a fallen statue? I don't know.
True King.
This looks like it's going to be real campy. I mean, the first one was real campy, so I guess that's not surprising, but this could go real bad. Oh, God. Someone else says movies like Aquaman require alcohol to be good. If you have to be inebriated to enjoy something, it's not good. It's just plain not good. Brianna Does Art says, how low is the freaking bar? I know. Just hearing that a film is being made in real locations gives people hype for a film. The bar is underground. That's a great point. We're here talking like, oh yeah, Deadpool 3, real sets. We're excited. But yeah, that is the bar now. How sad. We're just excited over real locations. That just shows you how overused the CGI stuff has become. Alright, moving on. So here's some of the shots from the trailer. I mean, visually, like I said, very strong. Although, for some reason, whenever in the jungle, this just looks very uncanny to me. But the rest of it looks very good, in my opinion. Like, the underwater stuff, I think, looks even stronger than the on land stuff somehow. But yeah, I think it looks visually at least decent. We'll see how the movie is though. Moving on. So, I get an excuse to talk about Harry Styles today because there's actually Harry Styles news that's relevant to my channel. So, there's a new movie starring Anne Hathaway and this guy here called Nicholas Galitzine. It's going to be a hard R because it's based off of a smut fan fiction, a Harry Styles smut fan fiction. In the story, it follows a divorced mother, who will be Hathaway, who sparks a love affair with a pop star. That's going to be Galitzine. She meets after taking her daughter to a festival. You know what's funny? This movie is... There's multiple things that's funny about this. First of all, this movie is based off of Harry Styles fan fiction. Like, very, very smutty Harry Styles fan fiction. Secondly, this is not the first movie based off of Harry Styles fan fiction that has been made. Do you guys remember After? There was this whole movie called After. I'm pretty sure they even had a sequel. That was also based off of a very smutty Harry Styles fan fiction. I watched that movie too. The movie actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But it's crazy that it's happening a second time, and this time there's actually like a huge star that's going to be attached to it. It's kind of reminding me of 50 Shades of Grey, because if you guys know that 50 Shades of Grey is based off of Twilight fanfiction, I wonder if this can reach the same heights even though it's based off of Harry Styles fanfiction. Yeah, it's another 50 Shades situation, exactly. Someone else says this plot is incredibly messy. I will be the first in line. Here's the funny thing. Because I was a huge One Direction fan growing up, especially as a teenager. So I was actually aware of the fan fiction. I never read it because I didn't want to read this kind of stuff, but I was aware of the fan fiction within the fan base because this was a extremely, extremely popular fanfic that it was even starting to make the news outside of the fan base. Like, people were talking about it on the radio because this one fanfic was getting like millions and millions of readers every time there was a new post. So this wasn't like some small little fanfic. It started to get like I said, it started to get like news attention. So it's so funny to me that now we're getting the movie based off the fanfic, and I'm like, I cannot believe this fanfic has gotten this far. It's crazy to me. But anyway, anyone going to see this? Anyone curious about it at all? Oh, Danielle says I'm going to watch this 100%. Me too. And they even casted an actor that kind of looks like Harry. Definitely on purpose, obviously. Brianna Does Art says, my mom sold me to One Direction, the movie. I hope you liked it. You didn't know that was Anne Hathaway. I think that looks like her. Okay, Mikey says the movie sounds meh. Should I do a poll? Let's do a poll real quick. Who's interested in the Harry Styles fanfic movie? Alright, who's watching? Y'all know my answer. Who's watching? I wonder if we'll get another one. I'm gonna say me, never, and then maybe. Adding the poll. Brianna's just saying, bro, why? The Blue Gecko Nerd says, can a fan fiction film be good, though? I don't know, maybe. Like I said, I actually watched After, which is the first Harry Styles movie that was made, or fanfic movie, and I actually thought it wound up being kind of decent. I was surprised. So, they could be good. I think, who knows, maybe the movie will be good. I have no idea. Oh, Evil Connor wants the Zayn fanfic. Maybe they'll each get one, who knows. Star Film Studio says, I think nowadays people are making fantastic ideas and make a movie. Is this such me? What do you mean by that last comment? I'm not sure. But I get what you're saying in the fact that it seems like nowadays anyone could wind up getting a movie made. Like, I don't think the person who was writing this fanfic was thinking, yeah, I'm gonna get this made into a movie one day. But now that's possible. And I think that's actually kind of cool in a weird way. Alright, going to the poll. 53% of you are never, so I'm not surprised by that. Although, that's actually lower than I was expecting, so that's good. It's 27 or now 28% of you are saying maybe, so maybe you need to see a trailer. 19% of you are saying me. So honestly, I was expecting this to be like a lot more negative. So I think this is actually a pretty positive result. I wouldn't be surprised if this was somehow a big hit. Like I said, do not underestimate the popularity of this original fan fiction. It was getting like millions and millions of readers for every chapter that was uploaded. It was very popular. Like it was how whatever that Twilight fan fiction that was based off of for 50 Shades of Grey, it was like that level popular back in the day. So we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, ending the poll. Thank you for voting, by the way. Brianna Does Art says, did the fanfic writer get paid for the movie adaptation? Well, I don't know 100% about this one, but I know about After, the last movie that was based off the fanfic. I know that the original fanfic writer did get some credit for it. Like, she did make money off of it. So I'm sure that they're getting credit somehow. The weird thing is, Harry Styles himself is not getting any credit for this at all. Like, he's not going to get any money from this, even though it's sort of based off of him. I think that's weird. I don't know how I would feel if I was him, having these very, very R-rated, smutty movies made about me, and then I can't even be a part of it or make money from it. Like, I don't know how I would feel about that, to be honest. And for it to happen twice, I don't know. I don't know how he's feeling. Dee Dee made a great point. Okay, having movies based on fanfics is a way to get original movies, though. That's a good point. I don't even have I don't think making movies based off of fanfics is a bad idea, because there's a lot of fanfiction out there. So maybe this will become more of a common thing if this movie actually does well. That'd be really funny to see. Was that a guitar, Brit? No. I don't know. There's no guitar. At least give him a cameo. I don't think Harry would even want to be in this movie. I mean, how awkward would that be? Alright. About to move on to the next topic. Any final thoughts on this? West Coast Avenger says they can't prove it's him, not liable if they don't use his name. I mean, yeah, they could technically play around with, oh, it's not, it's not exactly him, even though the original fan fiction definitely referenced Harry, and it's heavily based off of his image and history being in the band, and they even casted someone that kind of looks like him. I mean, yeah, they could play the dumb card, but everyone's gonna know. I know I loved Anne's Met look. This is such a good look on her. Alright, anyway. Moving on to the next topic. Oh, Indie Sunflower says, I've never heard of a fan fiction turning into a movie. That's insane. In a good way. It's happening more and more now. Like I said, it's happened with Harry. It's happened with Twilight. I think there was another one it's happened to, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But who knows? Maybe this will become a trend. Moving on to the next topic. Not that. So, a lot of streaming services have been, their churn rates, which means like how many people have been canceling, have been really, really high since they all launched during the pandemic in 2020. So Variety, they did a really good article here that you guys should go look up if you're at all interested in any of the streaming stuff. But they said from 2020 to 2023, they looked at all of the major streaming services, and they looked at what their churn rates were, meaning how many people have canceled over the 3-year period. And look at this. These numbers are very, very bad. So Max was the worst with 27%. So that's awful. 27% churn rate is like people are just fleeing that app. Though, to be fair, they had a complete brand change where they went from HBO Max to Max, so that probably has a hand in it. And then Disney Plus is minus 21%. That's also pretty bad. I mean, they've been losing a lot of subscribers lately, and they just lost me. I literally canceled my Disney Plus subscription yesterday because I'm not using it. So yeah, I'm not surprised by that, even though that's a really high number. Paramount Plus minus 17%, Hulu minus 15%, Netflix minus 10%, Peacock minus 10%, Prime Video minus 9%, and then Apple TV Plus only minus 5%. So Apple TV Plus is doing the best, which is surprising because I remember when the streaming wars were first started, people were kind of making fun of Apple TV Plus for not being like a serious contender. But look, it's getting people to stick around the most, so it's got that at least. Is anyone surprised by this at all? Mikey says, who is actually still using Max? I know, right? I mean, to be honest, it's mostly the same stuff that was on HBO Max. It's just branded worse. Jack says, I heard a lot of people were canceling Disney Plus. Yeah, they're losing millions like every quarter. It's really bad. Although, is it really bad? The reason I canceled is because they're about to double how much Disney Plus costs per month while they're taking down a lot of stuff. And to be honest, the main reason I subscribed was for the Marvel shows. And the Marvel shows have not been that great. And I didn't even watch all of Secret Wars because I thought it was so bad. So I just don't feel like there's really much on there for me anymore. And also, there's a lot of really good other reaction channels where you can sort of just watch something through them. Just say. Solo un tipo mas, I hope I said that right, says, freaking CEOs need to stop whining and pay. Right? These strikes could end tomorrow if the studios just literally were willing to negotiate, but they're not. Daniel Lynn says, I canceled Max because of all the drag/trans content. Oh, interesting. I mean, do they even have a lot of that stuff? I mean, you do you, but that's not something that I would cancel over. Rachel says, to be honest, Max is one of my favorite streamers, especially after they merged with Discovery Plus. You think it got better after they merged with Discovery Plus? I think they got worse, but... I mean, I think Max does have a pretty good, like, arrangement of stuff. Like, I feel like they have the most diverse kind of content out there. Even better than Netflix, because Netflix has a lot of variety too, but most of their stuff is not good. Whereas at least most of the stuff is Max. On Max is actually kind of decent. Jessica Page says, I've only kept Disney Plus because I like to watch the old animated movies and Disney Channel shows. I see why people would cancel if they don't watch stuff like that frequently. You know, I also got Disney Plus because I wanted their back catalog. But the thing is, I've seen all of those movies so much that it's not like I feel a desire to go and rewatch a ton of movies that I've seen like a million times growing up, you know? So now I'm kind of in this position where I will still watch those older movies, but I kind of have to be in the mood for it. If I'm in the mood for it, then I'm just going to go seek it out and maybe rent that movie individually rather than just paying for something month to month that I'm not really using that much. So that's why I decided to cancel. Xavier, exactly. Piracy has become way, way easier. Riaru says, I started watching Fiona and Cake. People keep mentioning that to me, and I don't really know what that is. I mainly watch their DC content and Studio Ghibli. Old school Cartoon Network is cool, too. The main stuff I've watched on Max is, like, some of their recent releases. Like, I watched Dune a lot on there. I watched Blade Runner on there. Obviously, I watched Velma. I've watched some of their old HBO stuff, too. I was watching HBO before it even became HBO Max, because I was watching, like, Game of Thrones and stuff on there, so... They had really good stuff on there. I feel like the management behind it is kind of messing stuff up. It's almost feeling intentional at this point. Laura B says, Disney Plus is less than $1 a month in my country, so I will keep it. Less than $1 a month? Where do you live? That Disney Plus is less than $1 a month. I'm jealous, low-key. It is like, what is it? Almost $10 here now, and they're about to raise it to almost $20. So it's very, very expensive here in the United States. Way too expensive. Daniel Lynn says, I used to watch Disney Plus, but didn't watch it, so I canceled that. I still love the classics, but not enough to keep it. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I still love the classics, still will go back to them from time to time, but I'm not gonna like pay month to month for occasionally I'll watch one of them. Alright. Moving on to the next thing. So this is wild. This is a very wild story. It's a developing story that's just like dropped right before I started like going live. So there's probably going to be more information coming about this soon. But here's what we know so far. Jonathan Majors, as you guys know, is in a lot of hot water for allegations of assault, there's all sorts of accusations against him. I'm not going to go into it here, but he's basically been waiting to go to court for quite some time now to try to clear his name, and basically save his career because his manager left him. There's been a lot of rumors that Marvel's considering maybe leaving him, so he's very desperate right now to save himself and his career. Keep that in mind, because there's this video that just came out, and I'm gonna play it, but what the video is Jonathan Majors breaking up an intense high school fight. And I just want to show the video to you because a lot of people don't think this seems legit at all, and to be honest, after I saw the video, I don't think it is legit. It looks very staged. It feels like his publicist or whoever told him to do this because they'll think it makes him look good. I don't think it makes him look good. I think it makes him look really, really fake, especially if it is. I think it makes him look even worse, to be honest. But here, I'm just gonna play the video. You tell me what you think. Oh! Okay, so you see Jonathan come running in. You see that? That very slow, like, walk, and then he's like, "Hi, guys. Just stop. What are you doing? No, guys." I don't know. Do you think this is real? Do you think this is real? I mean, first of all, why were all these people just casually standing around already with their phones out? And by the way, if you go further into the video, you see someone has their laptop out. They're trying to record it with their laptop. I don't know about this. I mean, who would just be standing around with their laptop waiting to catch something? It just looks very, very sketchy to me. Do you guys think this is real or do you think this is PR? Okay, a lot of you guys are saying fake. Interesting. Very fake. Yeah. Riru says, does he know someone at the high school or something? I don't know why he was hanging around there. That's why it's like there's so many questions. Like, why was he near this high school? Why was he happen to be around for this random high school fight? Why would he feel the need to break them up? Like, it's just, there's so many questions. The girls seem mildly annoyed with each other. I don't know about that. I mean, they seemed, well, maybe towards the end, yeah. But it just, I don't know. It's giving very staged vibes. Alright, okay, you guys want a poll? Let's do a poll. Who thinks this is staged? Alright. Is this staged? Say, yes, this looks hella fake. No. I think this is real. And then, you know what? I'm not going to do a third option. Let's just commit to doing either yes or no. Is this staged? Oh, Nicholas says he even had a script. Wait, what? He had something in his hand? I'm sure this wasn't needing to be, like, literally scripted, but it just seems a little bit, I don't know. Looks sketchy to me. Hold on. Where'd it go? Brianna also agrees looks very staged. Sexy Rhino says, well, its quality is the same level as recent Disney films. Oh! Sexy Rhino. Shots fired. Star Film Studios says, I'm not a professional actor, but I think this is fake. Okay. Seeing a lot of people saying fake. Evil Connor says next he'll be helping an old lady cross a busy road. I feel like this video has the same amount of believability as a video of him helping an old lady cross the road. Like, it just seems so much like a PR spin to me. It is very random. Alright, going to the poll. 95% of you think this is staged. Holy crap, that is not a small percentage. That is the vast majority of you. Only 5% of you think this is real. Did I convince you guys that this was staged, or do you genuinely just think this is staged? Because I hope I didn't influence the poll. Oh, Jack says his career is over, it doesn't matter. Well, I'm sure he's trying to save his career. I'm sure that's what this is about. Okay, Rachel says, I gotta hear the reason for anyone voting no. That's a good point. Anyone who did vote no, no judgment. Why did you vote no? Why do you think this is real? What makes you think this is real? Okay, the Blue Gecko Nerd says, oh, this is like the live-action remake when Ariel was fighting with Vanessa. You're right. It does kind of give that vibe of, like, just, like, very sort of just using hands, not, like, a huge fight or anything. Oh, no, Drew Dulce, I convinced you. Okay. Pop says, even if it's staged, why didn't they try to make it realistic? This looks like a Disney fight, to be honest. Yeah, it's true. Ending the poll now. You guys, by far and away, think this is staged. No question. Okay, Riru says, I feel like maybe. I'm not sure what the context is in this situation. It is just so random. That's what it feels. And keep in mind, his trial date is tomorrow. And this video is dropping today. So it just feels like very convenient timing that we're suddenly getting this video today when his trial is tomorrow. And also, as someone mentioned on Twitter, now if you look up Jonathan Majors beating women, this is the video that will come up instead of, you know, the actual accusations that he's under. So it's all a spin in my mind. That's what I think it is. The laptop, yeah, the laptop I feel is what kind of sells it. I feel like maybe they were trying to go for webcam quality to give it authenticity, but they wanted to still get like a clearer image. So maybe that's why they were trying to use the laptop as like an idea. I don't know. But I feel like that laptop gives it away. West Coast Avenger says, what's unfortunate is that he is roughly half the Loki Season 2 episodes. I know! He's in half of Loki Season 2. That's gonna be interesting. Innocent until proven guilty, though. That's true. People tend to forget that. We'll see what happens in this trial tomorrow. If it comes out that he's completely innocent, then I guess Marvel has a lot less to worry about. But if he is, like, proven guilty, he has an opportunity to end up going to jail over this, so they're gonna have to recast him or do something. It's gonna be very, very interesting what happens. Yeah, Brianna, this could be about influencing the web results, because think about it, this would also come up. Nicholas says, oh yeah, didn't Boris Johnson once blurt out some random ish to influence Google search results or something? People do this a lot, actually. It's very, very common. People will do something just to, like, manipulate with search results. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's what he's doing. But anyway, again, innocent until proven guilty. Who knows what the courts will say tomorrow or what the courts will decide. I will talk about what the decision is when it's made. I just think this video looks not good in his favor. I think it makes him look very sketchy. So we'll see, maybe we'll hear more about this story and we'll find out that it was real. And maybe we're all just being too cynical. But we'll see. If it does come out that this was actually faked, I think his career is deader than dead. It's already pretty dead, but this would be like, there's no coming back from it. It'll be just beyond dead. Alright, moving on. The Lando series. Well, there was going to be a Lando series. Now it's looking like it might be a movie, according to the writer. Now, it might still be a movie that goes on Disney Plus. Apparently, they're not sure if it's going to go to theaters or Disney Plus. I really hope it doesn't go to theaters because I don't see this movie doing well. Even on streaming, I don't know why they're planning to make a spin-off movie of a movie that didn't do well in the first place, like Solo flopped. So why would they make a spin-off film for this? This makes no sense to me. Like, please tell me what business sense it makes to do this. I mean, I get people liked his Lando in that movie, but first of all, didn't Solo come out in like 20, what was it, 2018, 2017? It came out a little while ago now. And by the time this movie actually comes out, it'll be even longer since that original film came out. And I don't think many people even saw it or really liked it that much because, again, it flopped horribly. So why are they making a spin-off film of a movie that was divisive, did badly, and by the time you have this movie even out, it'll be like 7 years since you last had a movie in this sort of Solo spin-off franchise? I think it doesn't make a lot of sense. I think it's very weird. It's not a real promo pic, just someone made this. Nicholas says, yep, 2018, shame Solo flopped. I actually quite enjoyed it. I thought it was okay. The reason I didn't like Solo was because I felt like it was just jam full of references, and I felt like every second the people were just like winking at the camera like, hey, remember this from the original movie? Remember this? It just felt like Member Berries the movie, and I didn't like that. Okay, so some people like Solo. That's fair. Kana Bluey says, I keep learning about all these shows and characters that I've never heard of when I tune into these streams. Lando. Well, if you're a Star Wars fan, you guys wouldn't have heard of Lando Calrissian. He's one of the main characters from the original series. They haven't done like a ton with him since, so again, I don't even know how popular of a character Lando is. Like, obviously old school Star Wars fans know who he is, but like, will the younger generation even care? Because he wasn't in the prequel movies. He was in the one sequel movie that no one liked. So I don't know. Again, who is the audience for this? I feel like they're making stuff just to make Star Wars content and have Star Wars content to be viewed. But it's not like there's really a need for it. West Coast Avenger says, Donald Glover is a modern creative genius. This should be incredible. A lot has to do with the people attached. I do think Donald Glover is a talented guy. I like his music. And I really loved Community. So it's funny seeing how his career has like grown and changed since then. I do agree with you. I like Donald Glover, but you also have to take into account that this movie is going to be made as part of the Lucasfilm machine. And whatever creativity that Donald Glover has will be suppressed somewhat by the machine. So, we'll see. Super Mario was the most remember this movie lately in some ways. Yeah, Super Mario had a lot of the Easter eggs, but I think it worked for that film. People seem to have loved that. Yeah, a lot of people love Atlanta as well. It's very well written. Fod Freed says, Gen Alpha doesn't care for Star Wars as I am the Gen Alpha representative in this chat. I'm not surprised. I saw several articles a while back that was talking about how Disney was struggling with getting Gen Z to care about Star Wars, so I'm not surprised Gen Alpha doesn't care about it. I think this franchise mostly appeals to, like, millennials and older. I'm glad to see a lot of you like Donald Glover, though. I wish he'd made more music. Alright. So I do have a member question about this because I think Star Wars is in a very, very weird, interesting place where it's kind of dead, but like it's just slowly dying. It's almost dead, but there's still some juice left in the tank. I don't know if this Lando movie is what Star Wars needs, but I did ask you guys what you thought about it. So I asked my members, what do you think about this Solo Lando movie? Do you think it has any chance at doing well? What do you think? So Mary Lynn Cherry says, as I was never into Star Wars, I am not interested personally, but I like Donald Glover in Community just as much as every other cast member. Good for him getting a lead role in a movie. Yeah. He's in a... Well, actually, no, he's not in a lot of movies. What is he doing lately? I feel like I've not seen Donald Glover in much lately other than Atlanta. Maybe that's all he's doing. I don't know. But I do have a lot of faith in Donald Glover. I just don't know if the movie itself is necessary or his star power is enough to save it. John Mua says, it depends on how closely they portray the character to the one who appears in episode 5 and 6. The titular character in the Solo movie was not anything close to the version of Han Solo in the original trilogy. Billy D. Williams was awesome as Lando Calrissian. Maybe Disney will let Glover play the role with the same level of swagger and panache. Well, I thought people liked Glover's portrayal of Lando because I thought he added that swagger. I remember when that movie came out, like, the main thing people were praising about the film was Donald Glover's performance. Maybe he's still not, at Billy D. Williams' level, but, I think people at least liked him in it. Maybe. I think they liked him as Lando more than they liked the other guy, Alden Ehrenreich, as Han Solo. Nicholas Wilson, thank you so much for being a member, says, I can see that casting. Lando is supposed to be a smooth, lovable rogue, and I feel like Glover can pull that off. Unfortunately, Disney have so diluted and oversaturated the franchise that it's going to be an uphill struggle from the start thanks to viewer fatigue, and I'm saying that as a Star Wars fan. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people, again, this is just online, so take it with a grain of salt. Twitter does not represent the world, but I'm seeing a lot of people online say that they don't think, the only reason they're not watching Ahsoka, even though some of it, interests them, is just because they're so burned out on anything Star Wars, that I could see that happening with this movie, too. I could see a lot of people just not watching it because they're over Star Wars in general. Oh, we have a super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat, West Coast Avenger. Please watch episode 4 through 5 Ahsoka. Just brilliant work. I actually have seen episodes 4 through 5 of Ahsoka. Here's the weird thing about me. I will watch a lot of stuff that I'm not even that interested in personally, just because I like keeping up with the pop culture narrative of the time. So I actually have been watching Ahsoka. I'm just not... I don't feel like I can talk about it on my channel because I don't feel knowledgeable enough about the subject to really give anything interesting to say. I haven't seen Rebels. I haven't seen Clone Wars. I don't know who most of these characters are. This is the first time I'm meeting, almost all of these characters. So all I can really tell you is, from an outsider's perspective, from someone who's not watched those original shows, I can tell you, I think there's good bones there. I think that this is definitely a better show than, say, the last season of The Mandalorian or Obi-Wan or Boba Fett. But at the same time, I feel like I'm missing half the story. And I really wish that I could feel more, of an emotional investment with the characters. And I can't feel that way. Because I feel very much like all these characters knew each other in some other project before that I didn't watch. So it just feels like all the character development was done in another show I didn't see. So that's kind of how I feel about Ahsoka. Anise says, bring back Kylo/Ben Solo. I don't know. I think we just need to move on to new characters. Enough bringing back people that died already. We just need to move on. The Blue Gecko Nerd says, wait. Are there more transphobic comments in the chat? I only saw that one that I read. I should have read it ahead of time. If you're making any other transphobic comments, please stop. The Blue Gecko Nerd says, when I was younger, I used to watch Star Wars, The Clone Wars, and Rebels. Yes, aren't those shows technically for kids? I'm pretty sure those were, on Disney XD, right? So I think it's just, it's a lot of homework to expect people to watch those shows, especially if you're an adult. Jack says, I'm deeply emotionally connected to Star Wars. Oh, I'm so happy for you. Honestly, I think there's something quite nice about, finding just a story that you really connect to and, you just carry with you your whole life. I don't think there's anything wrong with, being really passionate about a franchise or a movie or whatever. For me, I have my franchises that I've really loved. Star Wars was never one of them, but I get the passion for it. I do. I get the whole fan base, fan craziness of it. I get it. Layleen Law says, they get a lot less kiddie very fast, but they definitely started as that. I think I tried to watch one of those shows once, and it was just the first season, and I remember thinking it was too kiddie for me. Maybe I should go back. Brianna Does Art says, most of my older family members like Star Wars. None of my really older family likes it. You said older both times. Are you saying like your younger family doesn't really watch it? Honestly, I think this franchise is aging out. Well, it'll be really interesting to see like can they get Gen Alpha or Gen Z to care about this franchise because I think they're running out of time to be honest. I feel like younger kids associate Star Wars more with the video games than the movies at this point. Anyway, I want to get to one more comment and then I'll respond to the rest of the member questions later because I do want to get to the strike stuff. So, Me Multilier says, I can't see it being a hit, but having said that, I would watch it. I like Solo, people didn't give it a chance. I don't know if people didn't give Solo a chance. I don't think that's fair to say. I think, honestly, I think the movie was judged honestly reasonably. I think the movie was judged for being just full of fan service and fan bait, and I think that's all the movie really had to offer. No one talks about or references that movie at all because there's nothing to it to really talk about other than, oh, remember that scene where we learned where Han gets his name? Oh, remember that scene where Han meets Chewie? It's like, that's all there is to talk about. That's not that interesting if you're not already a deep Star Wars nerd. So I think that's the issue. Happy Meal says, for the last 2 weeks, I've been imagining an alternate Star Wars story involving the actors in Ahsoka. They're good actors. Like I said, I feel like in Ahsoka, there are bones there for something good. There could be some good. Like, in the episode 5, spoilers if you haven't seen it, if you don't care, I'm about to at least talk about the last episode. But there was a moment in the last episode where you see Darth Vader pop up in a flash of light when Anakin's walking away. Like, they brought back Hayden Christensen. And I thought that was really cool. That entire sequence I thought was really done well. And I liked the idea of it. I like where they were going with it. But the reason I still couldn't feel, like, emotionally invested in it is because none of it even mattered anyway. It was all just in Ahsoka's head. It was all just a dream. None of it really mattered to the overall plot. This entire season so far, I've been trying to figure out who are these characters and why I should care. And then they spend an entire episode in a dream sequence adapting something from a show I never watched. So I very much feel left out as a casual viewer, not gonna lie. Evil Connor, thank you so much for the super chat. We're here all night. Well, I'm glad you're loving the show. You're always engaged in the chat. I really appreciate you, Evil Connor. Okay, Ray Noel says, I will watch anything Hayden Christensen for my adolescent self. I will have to say, they did the de-aging tech on Hayden Christensen, and it looked really good. And the only reason it probably looked good is because Hayden Christensen himself is actually aged really well. So they didn't have to do too much de-aging, which is probably why they were able to do it convincingly. But the de-aging for him was actually really good. Why are y'all bringing up holes again? What is with the holes talk? Is this a running gag now? How did holes become a running gag on my show? Oh, thank you, Stephanie. That's really nice of you. Okay, a lot of people like Hayden. Brianna Desart says, yeah, the de-aging tech looked really good. It did look really good. It seems like probably not a lot of you have seen this episode, so I'll move on. But for those who have seen Ahsoka, I know, like, a lot of really deep, passionate Star Wars fans really love that show, so I'm happy for you. I'm happy it's doing what you want from it, but I'm telling you, as an outsider who is very much representative of, like, the casual audience member, I feel left out. And that's how I feel about Ahsoka so far. Alright, moving on to the strike question. So, you guys remember when we talked about the fact that Drew Barrymore has decided to bring her show back on air despite the fact that the writers and actors strike is still going. So far, she has gotten approval from SAG, but the Writers Guild of America is absolutely pissed off at her. And they are making it very much known that they're upset with her. And not just that, but she's inspired so many other talk shows to come back on air because if Drew Barrymore's doing it, well, why not? not, everyone's thinking, why not I? Why don't I come back and do it too? So then we got Sherry, The Talk, the Jennifer Hudson show. And then now, the most recent thing we learned was that Bill Maher is bringing back his show. So it seems like a lot of these either daytime or nighttime talk shows, news shows will be coming back. They just won't be coming back with writers. And of course, a lot of people are calling them scabs. A lot of people saying this is scab behavior. This is a backstab to all the writers out there. So this has been very, very contentious. Now, I did read the article where they talked about the whole Bill Maher thing, and Bill Maher did make a statement. He said, "I will honor the spirit of the strike by not doing a monologue, desk piece, news rules, or editorial. The written pieces that I'm so proud of on real time." That's his show. And I'll say it up front to the audience. The show I will be doing without my writers will not be as good as our normal show, full stop. But the heart of the show is an off-the-cuff panel discussion that aims to cut through the BS and predictable partisanship. And that will continue. The show will not disappoint. So he's saying he's going to comply with the rules. He's not going to promote any struck content. He's not going to write anything. He's not even going to have his usual monologue or any of his written segments. He's just going to be doing his usual panel discussions, which requires zero writing. And the reason he said he's bringing his show back is basically so he can give the rest of his crew a job. He said, quote, "It's been 5 months, and it's time to bring people back to work. The writers have important issues that I sympathize with, and hope that they are addressed to their satisfaction, but they are not the only people with issues, problems, and concerns." Basically saying that he's trying to look out for the rest of his crew, and that it sucks that his writers can't be a part of it, and he still supports them, but he's trying to make sure that the rest of his crew are able to work throughout this strike, even if that means kind of screwing over the writers a bit. Which is essentially the same thing that Drew Barrymore and like every other person who's doing this has said, that they're all doing this for their crew. How do you guys feel about this? Pop says, "I love how we have evolved as a society where celebrities have to very carefully pick out their words to try not to get canceled, and it doesn't even work half the time." That's true. I feel like there's starting to become a bit of a movement, though, where a lot of celebrities don't really care about being canceled anymore. So I think we'll start seeing a lot less of the cautiousness, but yeah, there's still a lot of it going on, that's true. Eve O'Connor says, I think it is fine. This gives them an opportunity to publicize and update people on the strikes. Exactly. This is why, even though there's a lot of people online upset about it, Twitter's upset about it, the more time that I've had to sit with this and think about it, I'm actually on their sides. Here's why. I think, again, they have writers on their shows, but it's not like half of their staff is the writers and that's it. It's usually just like a couple people. Like, for example, with the Drew Barrymore show, she apparently only had about 3 writers on her staff compared to dozens with her other crew. I understand why she's thinking, the rest of my crew are going hungry, could possibly lose their homes, when we don't have to do this. It's just 3 people that are holding up the entire show. And I can understand their thinking. I can understand it. Crystal has mixed thoughts. Yeah, it's not an easy thing. I don't think there's really, I don't think anyone's wholly good or wholly bad here. I think it's definitely a shades of gray situation, but I'm gonna have to be on their side here. I don't think what they're doing is wrong, to be honest with you. No, I know a lot of people probably disagree with me, because a lot of people disagreed with me before. So let me have it. Tell me why I'm wrong. Eve O'Connor says, "I hope he does. He's grumpy and old, but generally for the people." He's grumpy and old. Eve O'Connor. You're so blunt and you're hilarious. Yeah. But generally for the people. But yeah, I mean, I actually kind of like Bill Maher, so maybe we'll have something good to watch. I don't know. Kisaki says, "I also wonder how the writer strike will affect the elections." Oh, that's a good point. The election is next year. Who knows? Maybe the strikes won't be happening next year. We might still have the IATSE strike, but that might not happen, so who knows? It might not affect the elections if this does end, at least by January or February. Just noticed his long head. Are y'all just staring at this picture, judging his face? What what is going on? Brianna Desart says, if these hosts themselves weren't so well off, I wouldn't feel so angry about it. Okay, there we go. So a lot of people are saying that these hosts should have just paid their writers or paid their staff instead of, going back on air. Now here's the thing. Yes, all these people are very rich and they could technically afford it. But they're also not just paying for their salaries. There's also, like, their health insurance, all of their other insurances, which does add up, especially if a person has, like, a lot of, illnesses or needs doctor's visits and stuff like that. And it's also very possible that this strike could go on even longer than January, as I think it's possible. So it would be ridiculously expensive for anyone to pay that amount of money, even if you could afford it. Now, if someone did do that, I would be like, wow, that guy or girl or whatever is like a really nice person. That's great that they're doing that. But that's like millions of dollars, And I think even for some of the richest people, they're probably thinking, I don't know about that. And they're probably thinking the best thing I can do is just give them their jobs back so they can keep their insurance and keep getting paid. So I think that's what they're thinking. How do you feel about that, though? Layleen Law says that's the cost of doing business, Brittany. What do you mean? Which cost? West Coast Avenger says, does art of course luxury and non-essential. Why are you so pro-union? Are you in the industry? I would say industry adjacent. And I'm pro-union just because A, I've been in union before at a previous job, and I know how much they helped me. And B, just because I'm pro-worker. I always will be pro-individual worker over mega corporations. So if you have a problem with that, I'm sorry, but I'm always going to be pro-worker. Brianna Desart says, I'm not in the industry, I'm just pro-paying people what they're worth so they don't starve or have to work 4 jobs just to survive. Oh, you're talking about something else, never mind. Nicholas says, with great power comes great responsibility, and frankly, I do think Drew B. and Maher understand this. I'm just worried about how this can all fall into the studio's hands. Honestly, I'm starting to get really worried about how this strike is going to end up. To be honest with you, there's a possibility that this does not go well for the writers and actors at all. It could end up blowing up in their faces, like, massively. I don't think it's really clear either way which way these strikes are going to end just yet. I think there's still a chance that the unions could win, but I think the longer this goes on, the more I'm thinking there's also a very real chance that the studios could still win. Just because people are losing their houses, people are going broke. So I just don't know how long people are going to be able to handle this. So we'll see. Pop says, now that Hollywood is going down, this is going to be the breaking point to YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and other forms of free entertainment. That's what I've been saying. I've already seen a number of actors, like B, C, D-list actors on YouTube lately, so I think that's already starting to happen. Oh, Joe, I'm always happy to support the strikes, of course. Taylor Evans says, amen, I worked for a chain healthcare system and found a small business owner, been happy ever since. Oh, that's good. That's really good. Again, we should honestly support small businesses more. I feel like if we all, and even for my own self, I should probably focus on supporting smaller businesses than, the big ones. We all should really strive to do that more. People were starting to do that during the pandemic a bit, and then I think a lot of people just went back to doing what they were doing. Alright, anyway. Wait, what? Taylor Swift hit 54 million subs. Oh, are you talking about on YouTube? I just saw an article that apparently Taylor Swift's concert movie is already at like 64 million pre-sales or something crazy like that. Now, I still think this movie is going to be very pre-sale heavy. Like, I think all the people who are going to see this are probably the kind that are going to want their tickets ahead of time because they're all like massive Taylor fans. So we'll see what it ends up like opening to, but I honestly don't think the movie will open much bigger than whatever the pre-sale number is. So whatever the pre-sale number is, maybe add like 20 to 30 billion and that'll be the opening. So we'll see. I know that was a little bit of a random thing, but I just saw someone mention Taylor. I don't hate holes. What is this Holes content? I haven't seen Holes since like 2009. It's been a minute, okay? That was like a thing in my youth in like the 2000s. I don't think I watched that movie once in the entire 2010s. Taylor Evans says, yes, you can't have everything in your field. Pick your poison for sure. But yes, the small business owners showed more care than my prior employment. Yes, it's true. Usually smaller businesses are kinder towards their workers too. Alright, moving on. So apparently the studios are very, very stressed because they want these strikes to end by the end of the month. Because if they don't end by the end of the month, then all of the scripted content for linear TV in the spring is in jeopardy of just basically not making it, or there's going to be a lot of delays. So it seems like this big gap I've been telling you is coming up next year is getting wider the longer this strike goes on. I'm thinking 2024 is very quickly going to become like the next 2020, in the sense that you're going to see nothing but constant film delays after film delays. And there's just not going to be a lot coming out. There's going to be a few things coming out, maybe more than 2020, but it's going to be like maybe one major movie like every other month or something, because it's looking pretty bad. I know you guys are upset about this, but it's very much looking like Deadpool 3 is probably not coming out until earliest, like very end of next year. I think it's probably not coming out to 2025. There's several movies apparently that were almost finished right before the strikes, but they still need ADR work or sound mixes, and of course actors can't do that during the strike. So there's just so many movies and shows that are looking like they're probably going to get delayed because the strike is not ending before January of next year, as I've been saying. So get prepared for more and more delays, because the studios are already like warning everyone because they can't get stuff done in time because everyone's on strike. How are you guys feeling about the delays? Anything that you're worried about getting delayed? And again, it's not just movies. It's also, if you watch linear TV, like a lot of those procedural shows are not going to be airing next spring because they just can't film anything. Dee says the actors and staff can't give up on the strike because they were barely getting paid enough to pay for their homes when they were working. Exactly. That's why people are fighting so hard for their lives and for their jobs, because even though things are really tough right now during this strike, if they succumb to the AI demands of the studios, that means in like 5 years the studios could just completely replace everyone by AI because people didn't fight for it now. That's why I think it's still important that we do have this strike until we can resolve these issues. Nicholas says this is exactly what that one former executive predicted. He gave September 1st for the strikes to be settled, and we're way past that, stupid studios. They were hoping for September 1st. I think that was always wishful thinking, to be honest. A lot of people were saying October as well, and I always thought that was wishful thinking. As you guys remember, I'm actually very proud of myself, because I've been telling you guys since day one of the SAG strike, this strike is not ending until at least January. And so far, I have been proven to be true. I have been proven to be right. So I feel like I definitely called this. From day one, I said this is not ending before the end of the year. And as it's going, I don't think this is ending until, like I said, at least January or February. I think it's going to be that long. Taylor Evans says, also not to sound rude at all, how can these people afford strikes? Cali, from what I hear, is so expensive to live in general. It sounds like people are taking a lot of odd jobs here and there. Like they're taking just whatever they can to survive. Honestly, I'm not really sure. I feel really bad for a lot of people who live in LA right now, because it is so expensive. Brianna Desart says we're gonna be getting a lot of indie movies and shows coming soon. Oh, a lot of indie stuff, a lot of reality TV. It's gonna be, the reality TV moment that happened in 2008 because of the last strikes. We're about to get that again. Alright. Now, I do have some WTF news. This is my last thing for today, and then that'll be the end of the stream. Of course, tomorrow I'll have my other stream at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just so I can get my international friends to join us. So if you guys want to see the stream tomorrow, please be back here at 1 p.m. instead of 7 p.m. tomorrow. But I am going to get to the WTF news before I sign off for today. The WTF news. Now, the VMAs. I didn't watch the VMAs live. But I did watch, a lot of the clips and images and stuff that came up on social media. And remember yesterday when I was saying, F Tiffany Haddish essentially. This is why. Tiffany Haddish is, I don't know what it is, but she has just some of the nastiest, evilest vibes, and I have always felt this way about her. But anyway, there's this video yelling, screaming after Shakira, who is literally ignoring her. There's no way she can't hear her, because she's right here literally yelling, trying to get her attention. And then she even goes up and photobombs her pictures. Shakira's still ignoring her, by the way. And then she went and photobombed her other pictures. She was just really obsessed with Shakira that night. And you could just see, in Shakira's face, she's annoyed, and she kept ignoring her the whole night. Tiffany Haddish had no self-awareness the entire night, and it was very embarrassing. And I had to bring this up, because I remember seeing these clips, what is going on here? Am I a professional Tiffany Haddish hater? I don't know if I would say I'm a hater. I just feel like I never got the hype to begin with. She always just had, the worst vibes to me. Am I yelling? I don't think I'm yelling. I'm sorry if I'm yelling. Yeah, no, I can't believe it. Nicholas says, I think Shakira knows she's there. She's actively pretending she's not there. Oh, she definitely knows. I wish I could play the audio, because she's, screaming at the top of her lungs. There's no way she didn't hear her. She just didn't turn around. How did this start? Apparently she was just, following her around? I don't know. It was very, very weird. She was just trying to get attention from everyone and was particularly obsessed with Shakira that night. Very, very strange. Oh, you're talking about Tiffany Haddish yelling, yeah. She was just being very obnoxious. I don't know. But anyway, I feel like her behavior was just so weird that night. I feel like this might be the final nail in the coffin for her career, at least for a while. Because who keeps inviting her to this stuff? She's not even in, well, I guess she was in the Haunted Mansion movie. She was alright in that. She wasn't even that great, to be honest. I guess maybe that's what's keeping her relevant, because, why was she invited to the VMA? She doesn't even make music. Why was she here? But anyway, I just had to share that with you, because I thought it was so weird. Oh, Taylor Evans, thank you so much for the super chat. Got any cringe cow shows to react to coming up? Cringe cow shows? A cow show? Are you trying to allude to something specifically? I can't think of any cow shows, I've got to be honest. A cow show? I have no idea. Oh, I'm sorry, but thank you for the super chat. I know, she really is in everything. But why was she at the VMAs? That's about music. She doesn't even make music. West Coast Avenger says, I think it was a bit. Will Ferrell or Jim Carrey would have done something like this. Well, those people are also weird, to be fair. People have been calling out Jim Carrey, especially for, a lot of the weird stuff he's been doing lately. Yeah. Maybe they would have done it, I don't know, but it still would have been equally weird. Oh, Jax says Tiffany does make music. What? Well, that's news to me now. Is it good music? Do I need to check this out? Interesting. Now I'm very curious. Alright, I'll take 3 more questions and then that'll be the end of the stream for today. Thank you everyone for joining. This was really fun. What kind of music does she make? I'm very curious. Mortally curious, though. Baker Anita says Cow and Chicken was Cartoon Network. What is this show? Why are y'all talking about cows? How did we get on the cow subject? She hopped the gate and snuck in. Maybe, I don't know. Uh, oh, you meant cringe shows. Okay, Taylor, I was very confused. I was like, what cow shows is he talking about? Okay, cringe shows. Maybe I gotta find a good cringe show to watch that will actually let me upload the video and not take it down immediately because of copyright. Maybe. Alright, I'll do one more question. Oh, Eva Connor likes my quote. Is that going in the book? Did I see the murder drones? The what? The murder what? Oh, that sounds like WTF news. I don't understand. Murder drones. What? I don't know. That's a weird way to end the show, but now I feel like I have to look up the Tiffany Haddish music thing and murder drones, because what is that? But anyway, that's the end of the show. Thank you everyone for being here. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'll see you then.